Yeah, thank you.
I don't remember what I read in second grade, all right? I became a Ducks fan. Thanks, Disney.
Speaking of all-time greats, Marty Brodeur. I'm sure you guys heard of him. One of the
Of
one of the
course.
greatest goalies to ever play the game. I think he's 41 years old. Had a bit of a situation last year in New Jersey. It was his last year, so everyone thought. So New Jersey made a trade for a goaltender, Corey Schneider, and they kind of split time last year. Well, New Jersey has decided to move forward with Corey Schneider. They did not re-sign Brodeur this year. Rather than retire, Brodeur's kind of wanted to keep playing, so he's just been on the free agent market all season. 41-year-old. I don't want to say washed up because he's still a phenomenal goaltender, but he's a shell of what he used to be.
Oh, yeah.
The St. Louis Blues are facing some adversity with their goaltending. Brian Elliott, their starting goaltender, just had a lower body injury. So he's going to be on the IR, and he's on a week-to-week basis.
Was that diagnosed by Popovich or Belichick, the lower body injury?
Oh, dude, that's just hockey. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're really bad. It's an upper body or a lower body. That's all you get.
I was say, was that good old JR a shot to the midsection or what?
Right. But he was brought in for a tryout contract, and it seems as if they're going to go ahead and sign him. Their head coach, Ken Hitchcock, said that if he's here, he's going to play. And if they sign him, he's going to go on their road trip with them, and he will get to play. So a lot of fans are really anxious to see what's going to happen there with Brodeur.
I don't blame him. He's been fresh because he's been off all season. As an old guy, you kind of want that. And worst comes to worst, he's a great presence in the locker room.
And I was really kind of frustrated with my team, the Blue Jackets, because
they need him. They need anybody right now.
They've been renamed the Black and Blue Jackets
because
God. They are just on pace to shatter the record for man games lost in a season. Right now, they're already over 150 man games lost. And
every day I read my Twitter feed, and all I see is you posting something new of an injury for the Blue
somebody's
Jackets.
Hurt. Yeah, every day somebody else is hurt, and they've had some goaltending issues early in the season. Bobrovsky's obviously a Vezina world-class goaltender, but he was down for 8 games, and their backup Curtis McElhinney just could not get the job done. Why not bring in a guy like Brodeur when you had the chance? He's not really a backup goaltender, doesn't want to be a backup goaltender. But if you give him a few games to play, he would only push and make the other netminders you have better. I don't understand why they didn't take a chance on him, but didn't happen. It's under the bridge now, I guess.
So what you're saying is the Blue Jackets are the Lakers of the NHL?
I don't know what that means.
It means they fucking suck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they suck.
Yeah.
But the good news is, look on the bright side. The Blue Jackets are 6-16-2. They're terrible. They're tied for last in the NHL.
Shit, they're better than the Lakers.
So they had incredibly high expectations this year. People expect them to not just make the playoffs, but win a round or two and make a push. Well, they've gone from that to being tied for last in the league, and now they're in the Connor McDavid sweepstakes. So a lot of people are hoping they can either just tank and finish the season. Now we're getting to the point where in Columbus we're kind of rooting for injuries, like hoping we can just stay at the bottom and get McDavid. So,
hell yeah. I mean, it's what the Jets are doing, putting Geno Smith back in, right?
I mean, if you're going to suck, you got to suck all the way. You can't suck and then get better and finish somewhere in the middle. And
You're preaching to the choir about sucking.
Toronto Raptors, that shit.
Yeah, you're never going to get better picking 15th every year. You need to get some of those top talents.
Yeah, the Phoenix Suns know all about that.
Yeah. The Lakers will soon find
out. The one thing I have noticed, Phil, is that your Twitter feed, you've been posting a lot more. Is that something that Along the Boards has been like telling you to do, pushing you to do, be more active socially?
No, not really. I mean, I joined Twitter, gosh, I don't know, like 2009 maybe, or 2010, and I never just really got into it. I didn't really see the point in it and didn't want to get on the bandwagon. Well, when I started Grunt Punch last January, I was kind of forced to see the value in it, to push articles out and spam all my friends.
I know exactly how you feel.
But now that I've nixed Grunt Punch and I'm writing full time for Along the Boards, I've kind of grown to be addicted to Twitter somewhat. So now I'm just using my personal account a lot more. And yeah, I enjoy it. I like tweeting. I like having conversations with people and hopefully sharing a little bit of information every now and then.
Plus, you've been getting a decent size amount of eyeballs on your Twitter lately. So I mean, once you get that rolling, you kind of have to keep people wanting more and maybe just interacting with them. They're like, hey, here's a guy that's kind of connected with the Blue Jackets a little. Let's talk to him. Maybe he can get in there and give us some information, or we can just talk hockey with him.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I've been hoping for. At the bare minimum, trying to attract, CBJ fans to follow me. But yeah, it was kind of a highlight of my life when a couple weeks ago, one of my broadcasting, one of my long-term goals is to get into sports broadcasting, and I'd love to be a play-by-play guy someday.
Well, congratulations, you've made it.
DCS.
Here I am. Yeah. But yeah, George Matthews, one of my broadcasting idols, he used to be the play-by-play radio guy for the Blue Jackets for about 10 years. He recently retired, and I think he's living the good life up in Nova Scotia now. But yeah, I got a follow from him on Twitter a couple weeks ago, and I tell you what, man, that made my life right there.
Yeah, I saw that. He responded to something you said, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I got a reply and a follow out of him, and couldn't be happier.
Hey, Nova Scotia's cool. That's Crosby. That's Jordan Breen, one of my favorite MMA personalities, and Ellen Page is from there. God damn it!
No way, Ellen Page.
Ellen Page, Juno herself.
Now we've just come full circle here.
Hey, she did a roller derby movie. Come on.
Oh, in that case,
Yeah.
Bringing
it back to sports. Then.
Yeah, thank you. Any one last story we should know about before we head on to the foosball?
Oh, I don't know. Not really much else. Canada named their roster for their World Junior Championships. Connor McDavid's on there, despite being injured right now with a broken hand.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's recovering. He's missed 12 games now in the OHL. He's still fourth in scoring. He's got, I think, like 68 points and
12 games, and he's still fourth in scoring.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, I know when he went down earlier in the season, he had like 51 points in 18 games. I'm not sure what he's at now, but I think he's at like 68 points or something now. But it's just insane. Yeah, the kid's great, and I think he's going to be hands down the number one pick. Some people think Jack Eichel is a little better, kid playing for Boston in college, but yeah, I think it's McDavid, and I'm kind of hoping the Jackets tank there, and we can get that kid because he's going to be a number one center someday.
And I hope the Lakers tank. We'll just be praying for our tanks together. It'll be cute.
Well, like Mike always says, if you're gonna suck, suck all the way.
That's right. Finish the job.
Yep. I'm still waiting for my Phoenix Suns to do it. They've
been doing it for years.
They overachieve every year, and we get nothing out of it.
That's enough of it. Hey, do you mind hanging out for a few minutes with a little football talk?
I would love nothing more.
All right. Well, if you need to leave and jerk off, you just let us know. But let's talk a little foosball.
Facts. It's football nomenclature for when a quarterback is tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
So I think the big story of the week is the fact that Ray Rice won his appeal. It shouldn't be a surprise that he won his appeal.
Deservedly so.
I hate to say it, no matter what side of the fence you've fallen with the wife beating. Like if you're a Jones, you love the wife beating. It's in my ancestry.
There's so many of you,
right?
It just falls that way.
A deep trail of wife beating in the Jones family. But the thing is, no new evidence was brought forth, and he was still suspended more games than he was originally suspended for. And the judge saw it that way. I saw it that way. I think the world saw it that way.
And Goodell came out looking like a jackass because they said Goodell was wrong. There was no new evidence. He had it all from the beginning.
That's right. Can we #fire Goodell?
Yes, please.
Phil, what say you?
I've been doing #fire Goodell for like 3 years.
Love you even more. I have too.
I almost created a character Goodell on here, but I couldn't. I'm like, I can't make it funny enough. It'll just get old real fast.
Just like everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, Goodell has really screwed the pooch on this one. And I think the good thing about Ray Rice's indefinite suspension being turned over is I don't think Goodell is ever going to get fired. Somehow he's impermeable to firing. But I think at the very least it's going to raise up the issue of a separate entity needs to duel out the punishments to the players.
Definitely.
It cannot be the Lone Ranger anymore. We need a board that decides on the punishment of the players. I don't know. That's just me. I'm tired of his shit.
Just like the NWA, they used to choose a champion with a board of directors. not just one man.
Bringing this back to wrestling, huh?
Yeah.
Anyways,
what say you, Phil?
I think Greg was right. I don't think Goodell's ever going to get fired simply for the fact that his bosses are the owners. The owners care about making money, and Goodell makes them money. And
Lots of money.
So, yeah, I think the NFL's incompetence has been on full display this year more than ever, and I think it's got a lot of fans fed up. I'm one of them. I've really lost a lot of interest in the NFL this year, and I've still been following them, but I went from being the guy that plays in 10 fantasy leagues and watches at least half the games every Sunday to maybe catching one or maybe 2 games a week. And my interest has definitely fallen off, and part of it is because of the culture that they've allowed to foster, the violence and I know it's an issue with the violent game, and I don't have a problem with that, but you got to draw a line at some point, and you got to be consistent and clear on your punishments. You have to have rules, and you have to follow through with them. And Goodell clearly hasn't done that, and he's been very wishy-washy. And I'm ready for him to go. And in the age of social media that we have now, where it's constantly growing and the people's voice is getting louder and louder, you really saw it this year with the Ray Rice thing, and also the Adrian Peterson issue, where people have gotten on Twitter and Facebook and all these other social media platforms and called for Goodell's job and said, like, look, this guy is an idiot. He's a great businessman. He's good at convincing corporations to invest in his product and make billions of dollars. But, when it comes to PR and, just being a human being, he kind of sucks.
I agree. And I think it comes down to the best people in the world should have the best opportunity to become famous and the greatest players of all time. Barry Sanders, I'm sorry, he's the greatest running back of all time. I don't care what records he does or doesn't hold. He would have easily become the greatest running back of all time had he stayed. He was all class. He's what you want to represent your league at all times. And obviously they want to make money, so they want to leave all these great players out there. But if they're assholes, get them the fuck out of the league.
And I was talking with the lady friend the other day. We were watching football, and one of the stupid NFL PSAs for "Don't Beat Your Woman" came on, where I forget who it is.
Chris Carter.
He's standing
there to cry,
and he's not saying anything.
Right.
And then at the end it says, like, no longer can we not say anything. I said, you know what? I actually laugh at these PSAs because I know they're so full of shit and they don't give a fuck about what happens. If they gave a shit, they would have suspended him more than 2 games the first time, and not this bullshit where it's like, oh, people saw it? Oh, now we got to fucking rape them.
And it took them this long to write these commercials, first off. Second off,
they're horrible.
There's no goddamn dialogue, so it took them no time. They just had to get these football players that had emotion in their faces.
All they needed was a light kit and a white wall.
And then it ends with, help us start the discussion. Well, we started it. We said fire Goodell, and you guys haven't done it, so fucking do it.
Yeah, I laugh at those PSAs. They're horrendous.
Right.
I think it's like every case of crime in the history of crime. You're not sorry. You're sorry you got caught, and now you're trying to convince everyone you're sorry. You're actually sorry. Okay, you made the decision. You had the moral compass, or the lack thereof, to make that decision. You obviously don't care. You're not sorry. You're sorry that you got caught and you got called out on it, and now you're trying to smooth it over. That's all it is.
It's all PR, and it's fucking bullshit.
And this is why we have advocated for Silver,
Adam Silver,
to be the commissioner of all sports, because the motherfucker gets shit done right away.
Yes, he does.
I got to tell you, despite the fact that he looks like an alien,
he does. He's the white Chris Bosh.
He's a great commissioner, and he walks the line, and he's not afraid to punish people. He's not afraid to stand up for what's right, and it's not always all about dollar signs. I mean, that's obviously going to play a large factor in any multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar business, but he does have an obligation, and he's living up to it, and a responsibility to maintain some integrity in the sport. And what fans need to start realizing, and are slowly starting to realize, is that they control all of this. If like me, if I get fed up with the NFL and I don't want to watch their games anymore, they're losing that viewer, and that goes down in the ratings, that loses advertising dollars, and eventually they're going to make a change. And if people eventually get fed up enough with this stuff, they get tired of the drug addicts and the DUIs and the manslaughter and beating your wife and all this stuff, you get fed up enough with that to where you don't watch the game on Sunday, that's going to show in the ratings. It's going to show in the statistics, and things will change.